Alright, Shalom Yashra Allah, Shalom Israel, peace Israel. Alright, Israel is you blacks, Latinos and Native American Indians. Alright, I just hit a lot of scriptures on dealing with strange women and which women that we were forbid to deal with back in ancient times. Alright, hit a lot of scriptures on that. Now I just got a collection of random scriptures on dealing with women and various topics. But you can, you can get the scriptures and understand what I'm getting at as I read them. First, we're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and we're going to start at verse 1. Alright, so let's read. The scripture says this: Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Alright, because obviously the church at Corinth wrote to Paul asking him about, issues dealing with women or whatever. Now Paul just said it's good for a man not to touch a woman. Alright, obviously Paul is going to clarify himself, so let's read, because he always does. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence. Alright, benevolence is being nice, courtesies. Alright, basically act right. That's what our women call it these days. Scripture says this: and likewise also the wife unto the husband, that the wife have not power of her own body. So you women, you don't do what you want to do. Okay, says this: but the husband, and likewise also the husband have not power of his own body, but the wife. All right, so even to the men of Israel, you don't do what you want to do. Okay, you got to show that benevolence unto your wife, man. Scripture says this. This is what the scriptures say, man. I'm not kissing the women ass. I don't want the women to be commenting and calling me. All right, this is what the scriptures say, man. Because I know it's always somebody who got something to say, man, in Israel. All right, and I'm addressing it because that's Israel. You're Israel, man. These white boys and these heathen making comments, I have no care for that. All right, this is for the children of Israel that these teachings go out for. All right. Scripture says this, verse 4, verse 5, defraud ye not one another, defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. All right, now incontinency is when you can't abstain from sex. Now, it's like some people are confused about that verse. Let me show you what that verse is. Let me make an attempt to show you what that verse is talking about and give you some clarity. Because when you're dealing with your women, you don't want to be unclean at the wrong time. That's basically what that's talking about. It might be the Sabbath, or you might have to go into the temple to make a sacrifice or whatever. This is back in Paul times now. Or we have a spiritual temple now, so you can't be touching the holy things and when you're defiled or whatever. Now, that's what that's talking about. So Satan, when you might have a priest that was back in these times about to go make a sacrifice, and the devil would come tempt him through his women. All right, and the women, and they might want to have sex and make each other unclean when they're about to go into the temple. All right, or touch a holy thing. You see, that's what Paul meant by Satan tempting you. Now let's go to a scripture. It's 1 Peter 3 and 7. This is concerning 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 5. This is 1 Peter 3 and 7. The scripture says, it says this: likewise ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. See that? So if you ain't treating your wife like that, man, your prayers could be hindered. And we're going to read on more about that in 1 Corinthians 7. Now, concerning the Satan tempting you, this is Exodus 19 and 14. Let's read. It says this: and Moses went down from the mount of the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. Why? Because your wife can make you unclean. How can your wife make you unclean? Let's read the law. This is Leviticus 15 and 16. it says this, and if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until even. And every garment and every skin whereupon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until even. The women also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until evening. Now you might be the priest that do the evening sacrifice, and Satan can come tempt you and tempt your wife and make y'all want to have sex. All right, that's what Paul was talking about in 1 Corinthians 7 and 5, you see, and make you unclean before you got to go do that sacrifice. You don't want that to happen, you see. That's what that scripture is talking about. Let's go to 1 Samuel 21 and 3 and get some a little bit of clarity. This is 1 Samuel 21 and 3. It says this. Now therefore, what is under thy... This is when David was fleeing from Saul, and he came unto Ahimelech, the priest. Now therefore, what is under thy hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread in my hand, or what there is present. And the priest answered David and said, there is no common bread under my hand, but there is hollow bread if the young men have kept themselves at least from women. Because if you was defiled or unclean, you can't eat of that hollow bread. Let's read. And David answered the priest and said unto him, of a truth, women have been kept from us about these 3 days since I came out, and the vessels of the young men are holy, and the bread is in a manner common. Yea, though it were sanctified of this day in the vessel. See that? So he had to let him know that he hadn't came unto a woman and he wasn't defiled, so he could touch of that bread which was sanctified in the holy and touching the holy vessels. All right. Let's go to Leviticus 22 and 4. It says this. What man soever of the seed of Aaron is a leper or hath a running issue, he shall not eat of the holy things until he be clean. And we know those holy things are spiritual now. It says this, and whoso toucheth anything that is unclean by the dead, or a man's whose seed goeth from him, or whosoever toucheth any creeping thing whereby he may be made unclean, or a man who may take uncleanness, whatsoever uncleanness he have, the soul which have touched any such shall be unclean until even, and shall not eat of the holy things unless he wash his flesh with water. You see that? So touching or letting your seed go out from you by laying with a woman, that makes you unclean. So you couldn't touch the holy things while you were unclean. All right. Bear with me, brothers and sisters. It's a lot. Let me get my camera in order real quick. Okay. All right, thank you for bearing with me. Let's go to like I said, we just going over scriptures, man. It's real tedious because we just hitting straight scriptures. All right. Make sure you marking these. Make sure you looking over these. Make sure you reading on your own. All right, which is key. Reading on your own is key. Let's go to 1 Timothy 5 and 14. I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guard the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. All right, because if she does that, she's going to be occupying her time in godliness and things that are pleasing to the Lord by guiding her house and raising children. All right, that's what the women are supposed to be out here doing, man. The younger women. Now it speaks about the older women when you read up. This is let's go to Malachi 2 and 14. We're gonna finish Corinthians 7 also, because that's a long one. I think we might even close out with that. This is Malachi 2 and 14. It says this: Yet ye say, wherefore? Because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant. All right. Now, because your wife sometimes is symbolic, all right, for the word and the wisdom of the Lord. Because the wisdom is compared unto a woman by men in the Lord. So if you're treating your wife a certain way, all right, you can match that action up with how you treat the truth, man. I mean, you can. You gotta possess your wife like that, as commanded. That's that benevolence, man. The same way you show benevolence unto the truth in the scriptures and the wisdom, you gotta show that benevolence unto your wife, so we can be an example, all right, to the world, man. I'm gonna read to you this real quick. Wisdom of Solomon 8. Wisdom reacheth from one end of earth in to another mightily, and sweetly doth she order all things. I loved her and sought her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse, and I was a lover of her beauty. See that? Wisdom is always, in the word of the Lord is wisdom, and it's compared to a woman. Because you can't be putting your wife away and treating your woman any kind of way, man. All right, let's read Matthew 5 and 31.